Hi. Hello from the very smoky Central Valley. Very smoky. But anyway, since I'm here, and I've got my novel here called, what's this called? It is called The Cyber Crusaders. Yeah, Cyber Crusaders. Yeah. I thought I would read a part of my book called O Muslim, Don't Recite the Shahadah. O Muslim, Don't Recite the Shahadah. This is a short story from this novel. Okay. Before Mr. Ramos started making his own CDs, he came upon a video on the DVD of Dragon Driver 100 that inspired him to make a video of his own, which he seriously thought of burning to one of the data discs he had planned to present at mega churches. In the video of Dragon Driver 100, wearing a kufi, let it known that the worst of sins in Islam was partnering with Allah, or putting a partner with Allah. That such a sin was unforgivable, and thus was probably the number one reason why Muhammad taught that out of 73 sects of Islam, only one sect would escape the fire, hell. DD100, that's Dragon Driver 100, let it be known in the video that not only did Muhammad say only one sect of Islam would escape the fire, but out of 73 sects of Islam, that the chances of a Muslim escaping the fire would be like finding a white hair on the side of a black ox. Thus, if true, not only are non-Muslims going to the fire, but most Muslims as well. On video, DD100, that's Dragon Driver 100, then brought up the possibility as to why the chances of a Muslim escaping the fire were as rare as a white hair on the side of a black ox. That it could be due to the fact that most Muslims had recited the Shahadah, which is reciting, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is its messenger. I put it because if I said his, that means I would have, I'd become a Muslim, and then you could kill me if I don't have my patootie up in there 5 times a day, every day on a prayer rug. Yeah. In such a recitation, one performs the unforgivable sin of partnering with Allah. In this case, partnering Muhammad with Allah. DD100, that's Dragon Driver 100, went on and said to the camera, O Muslim, O slave of Allah, all Muslims, including Sunni Muslims, are now telling me that even Sahih, sound, authentic, Bukhari and Muslim Hadith are weak and fabricated, especially being that they have Muhammad teaching such stupid things as meteors burning up the Earth's atmosphere are little stars chasing away the Satan from spying on Allah, or having Muhammad teaching that we as embryos go through a 40-day blood clot stage, or in Sunan Abu Dawud, have Muhammad teaching that the sun not only sets in a muddy spring, but then asks and seeks permission of Allah to rise again. A proof that the Hadith is a lie. Proof that the Hadith, even Sahih, sound Hadith, can't be trusted. DD100 then went on and said, guess what, O slave of Allah? There is no mention in the Quran to perform the Shahadah, to partner Muhammad with Allah in such a recitation. If Islam is true, could this be why Muhammad says that the chances of a Muslim escaping the fire are like finding a white hair on the side of a black ox? DD100 then said, oh, there's a puppy. Oh, there's a puppy. It wants loving. Yes, it wants loving. It wants loving. And the puppy getting loving. Yes, the puppy getting loving. Yes, it's getting loving. Yes, it's getting loving. It lets me to pat the butt. Yes, it lets me to pat the butt and pat the puppy. Yes, it loves to do that. The puppy loves that. Yes, it does. Oh, yes, it does. I guess I'll read to the puppy. Yes, I read to the puppy. Yes. Okay. Okay. DD100 then said, that's Driving Dragon 100 said, on video, think about it, O slave think about it, O Muslim. Think about it, O slave of Allah. If Islam is true and Muhammad is right about your chances of escaping the fire are as great as finding a white hair on the side of a black ox, could the reason be because you followed the Hadith, a collection of books that has Muhammad marrying a 6-year-old and porking her when she was 9? Muslims say, oh, that's not true. Well, if that's not true, how about the Shahadah, huh? Has Muhammad coming up with the first part of Quran 4:24 that allows Muslims to rape captured married women in the presence of their husbands, according, rape in the presence of the husbands, according to Sunan Abu Dawud, as proved in Muslim, that's a hadith, Sahih 8:34-32, and Sunan Abu Dawud 2:21-55, especially. It's a sound, authentic hadith that has Muhammad saying that if you eat 7 ajwa dates in the morning, you'll be protected all day from both magic and poison. It's a sound, authentic hadith that has Muhammad telling you to wash a sleeping Satan out of your nose 3 times in the morning, even though Satan doesn't interfere with your sense of breathing, with your breathing or sense of smell. It's a Sahih, sound, authentic hadith that says Satan farts every time he hears the call to prayer, which seems to be a lie since the call to prayer is heard every hour on the hour somewhere on the earth, meaning we should smell Satan's farts every hour in the night when Satan is sleeping in our noses, or getting ready to sleep in our noses at night somewhere in the world. And, O Muslim, this comes from the same hadith that has you partnering Muhammad with Allah in the recitation of the Shahadah. O Muslim, can you now see why, if Islam is true, can you see now why your chances of escaping the fire is about as likely as being a white hair on the side of a black ox? It's probably because so many Muslims follow the same stupid hadith that has you partnering Muhammad with Allah in the Shahadah. In the Quran, you don't have to be on a prayer rug 5 times a day. As a matter of fact, that comes from the hadith as well. And it's the stupid hadith that has Muhammad saying 1 hour of seeking knowledge is better than praying for 70 years. Isn't that stupid? Talk about a big, hard, swift kick in the upraised Sunni patootie and prostration on the prayer rug facing Mecca. Yeah, a big kick in the air prayer for Sunni patootie prostration that has that patootie up in the air on the prayer rug for 70 years, and it would be a Sunni patootie, since it would be a Sunni who would have his patootie up in the air on a prayer rug for following the Sunnah, which is why they're called Sunnis. That's why he's called a Sunni, since Sunnis follow the Hadith. Thus, O Muslim, Thus, O slave of Allah, we now know just how many Muslims to escape hell are in that one sect out of the 73 sects of Islam. We now know why there is only one out of 73 that are going to escape the fire. And it's not going to be the Sunni sect. Instead, it's just going to be a sect so few in number that they number the amount of white hairs on the side of a black ox. Do you know how many white hairs are on the side of a black ox? Believe me, not many. So, if Islam is true, you have to ask yourself why so few Muslims will escape the fire. I'm thinking that it's because so many Muslims partnered Muhammad with Allah when reciting the Shahadah, a recitation that comes not from the Quran that says the unpardonable, unforgivable sin is partnering or putting a partner with Allah, but it comes from the hadith that will have you believe mountains are placed down, that sperm comes from between the ribs and backbones, that the sun sets in a muddy spring and then seeks permission of Allah to rise again, that meteors burning the Earth's atmosphere are little stars chasing away the Satan from spying on Allah. It's the hadith that has you partnering Muhammad with Allah, and with it you. If you recite the Shahadah, which the hadith will have you do, well, do you think you will be in that very few number of white hairs on the side of a black ox? Will you be in that sect of Islam, that one sect of Islam out of the 73 sects, to escape the fire? The fire? Think about it, O Muslim, O slave of Allah. What are your chances of escaping the fire? If Islam is right about the sun setting in a muddy spring, what are your chances of escaping the fire? If meteors burning up the Earth's atmosphere are what are your chances of escaping the fire? If meteors burning up the Earth's atmosphere are literal stars chasing away the Satan to keep you from spying on Allah, what are your chances of escaping the fire? If the Quran is right about ants not using chemical odors to communicate, like modern science teaches, but what if the Quran is right about ants able to speak like the ants in the Pixar animated movie called Ants, and say a full human-like sentence that goes, "Oh ants, get thee to thy dwelling places, so that ye are not trampled by Solomon and his troops as they perceive not." What if the Quran and Islam are true, and true about the ants? O Muslim, what then are your chances of escaping the fire? Think, O slave of Allah. Think, O slave of Allah. What are your chances of being one sect of Islam out of the 73 sects of Islam to escape the fire? What are your chances of being of the white hair on the side of a black ox, the very few in number of white hairs to escape the fire? What are your chances, O slave of Allah, in the Quran? When the Quran says that partnering with Allah is unpardonable, unforgivable, yet the hadith that all Muslims now seem to view as weak and fabricated, even its sahih, sound hadith, have you